A hot Sunday, hotter than lava, hotter than Nevada, hotter than the Sahara across these United States. Larry Ridley here. This is Esports Extra, the only live call-in sports show talking traditional sports and esports. We'll take your phone calls live at 877-853-5247. Meeting ID is Esport Extra. That is 377-678-9872. Hit the pound button twice to join the show. Larry Ridley here, SNY TV, a little NBC Sports, a little Madden NFL, a little NBA 2K League as well. Got the broskies this time. We got pros, not bros, but pros, because we're actually all professionals and different area codes. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, guys. We got Durbin. Are you still down there in the Palm Beaches?
Still in the Palm Beaches, just enjoying the sunshine.
Ponce de Leon?
Ponce de Leon Street, right off of Okeechobee Boulevard.
Right off of Okeechobee Boulevard. Absolutely. I know all too well about Okeechobee and Ponce de Leon down there in South FLA. Ivan Curtis flying with them Dayton Flyers. You out there in Ohio, broski?
Yeah, I got almost less than 24 hours. It's been great. Like I said, my daughter, she recovering well. I got to spend time with my grandkids, my sons. So it's been a great time.
Oh man, that is very good news to hear on a Sunday. And then we got A Willie, no hoodie, just a t-shirt because it's hot as hell in the DFW, right? A Willie?
It is. But the crazy part, since it's we're going a little bit earlier, it's not as hot as it would be if we were going normal show time.
It's still hot, dude. It's hot everywhere, even in New York City before I left. When I got to Nashville yesterday, saw triple digits for the first time all summer, man. I was like, man, y'all can have this heat. I'm telling you. No parts of it. I'll tell you that, bro. Everybody good?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Hey, we got a good show lined up today, man. We're talking, we're going to start with John Lewis. We'll get into the great civil rights icon. We're also talking Toronto Blue Jays, a little NFL training camp. James Harden, mask on. He should probably take that mask off if he listens to Future. We'll get into some of that. Melo, body has changed again. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Dame Lillard and his rap skills. We'll talk a little Canadian Football League as well. Get into one of the teams up there going through something similar as the Washington Redskins. So actually, I'm going to stop saying that name now, the Washington Football Team. We get into the Mad 99 Club. All 5 members have been released. We'll talk about that. Also, more Mad news with the Washington Football Team. We'll get into some of that. We got one of the best players in the NBA 2K League from the Boston Celtics crossover. We got OFAB. We'll talk to him around 2 p.m. Eastern time. We'll talk about the big turn, the second tournament coming up for the NBA 2K League as well. I believe over $200,000. That's straight cash, homie, on the line. We'll get into some of the changes that OFAB has gone through throughout the course of the year. Personal changes, very good stuff that we'll discuss and relate to you guys. Well, of course, we'll talk about Compete Forever on Black News Channel. We're on Saturday twice, on this morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. One more showing today at 6 p.m. Eastern for the Compete Forever Madden NFL Electric City Classic, and that thing was electric. Great venue for the #1 and the first opening of a sports book in the state of New York. And then we'll end with a little light news, esports. We're always trying to do a little more esports. I found something for you guys, man, a new Fortnite dance they put into esports. Into the game on Fortnite. And it's a song that's pretty dear to my heart. So we'll talk about that. And I'm going to put it out there, Renegade. We'll get into that. You'll get to see some of that. All right, let's start at the beginning. Some real news, tragic news. Not very happy news, sad news that came out on Thursday night. I was just sitting around Friday night, got a text from Kevin Mamuzet, Coach K back there, and he's like, hey, man, you turn on the news, you hear about John Lewis. And I was like, what? And, of course, John Lewis passed away at the age of 80 on Friday, some 12 days after we did the live stream for his movie, John Lewis, Good Trouble movie, the HBCU takeover on Sunday. So very tragic, of course. John Lewis, the civil rights icon, been doing this thing since the 60s, was in his early 20s when he spoke at the march in D.C., at the mall in 1963, represented the 5th District in Congress from the state of Georgia for 30-plus years there. Beautiful soul, beautiful mind. He taught us all to get into some good trouble, i.e. vote. I wore the Make Some Good Trouble T-shirt, vote HBCU Heroes yesterday. Tragic loss, sad loss, man. We're all mourning. A great American hero, a great American icon, gone at the age of 80. And just want to get you guys' thoughts, man, on we got a little chance to sort of get close to greatness and be near that legacy and help sort of message that legacy out to the world on July the 5th. We'll start with you, A. Willie. Your thoughts on the great John Lewis passing away Friday at the age of 80.
I'm a hip hop head, so one of the things that really comes to mind for me is KRS-One, Method Man, and a rapper by the name of Cam actually did a song in the '90s on the Bulworth soundtrack, and it was called "They Talk About It While We Live It." And he actually lived, as you alluded to, Larry, getting in good trouble. We talk about things need to change, and there's a lot of talk, and there's a lot of hashtags. Well, he actually lived those hashtags and did it. And so for me, it's an incredible loss. And also, too, one of the things that really resonates with me as a person that was one of the original freedom riders, organizing integrated bus rides from Washington, D.C. to New Orleans in a time when we are very divisive now as a country. He was actually doing things to try and pull us together. Again, also, too, one of the big six, one of the organizers in the March on Washington, D.C. One of the things that really, another thing that really resonated with me about him is the fact that he served 17 terms in Congress, 16 consecutive. And for a person that was fighting for equal rights for us and bringing, the fact that he was fighting for equal rights was bringing us together. He actually didn't, the only time while he was running for Congress that he didn't get less than 70% of the votes was the time when he actually got 69%. So for a person that in a time where it's so divisive, here's a person that really brought us together. And it's another example for him and C.T. Vivian as well.
Sure.
It's the reason why we need to give our leaders their flowers while they're with us.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing I'll say as well, we're missing our queen from the A. And I'll say that for a reason, because with John Lewis, with Reverend C.T. Vivian and others, the city of Atlanta is so important for us. So again, a tragic loss and something that we should make sure that we're continuing to keep that legacy going. In the words of Nipsey Hussle, the marathon continues.
Marathon continues. Yeah, I can't forget about the great C.T. Vivian as well. Did a lot of work here where I'm from, here in Nashville, Tennessee. John Lewis also did some stuff with Fisk University.
Fisk University.
My mom went to Fisk. She's a Fiskite, absolutely.
Mm.
So that's definitely close to our hearts. We'll go to you, D-Dubs, man. Your thoughts on the passing of the great civil rights icon, a hero, an American hero, because damn it, that's what he is, John Lewis.
Yeah, like Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi said, he was a titan, and he lived it. He was the civil rights movement. He learned a lot from Dr. Martin Luther King. He walked pretty much in his footsteps. He made it to 1965, the Bloody Sunday, where he was pretty much beaten to a pulp. And then even after all of that, what impressed me,
had his skull
cracked. And I mean, he lived it. He didn't just talk about it. He was about it. And then after all of that, to be in Congress for 30 plus years, so that tells me he was trying to get change within. He knew that you needed legislation to change, and he worked hard. He worked his tail off. And then I think he was proud this last year, the way he's been watching this movement push on and push forward. And then his movie come out. And I think, he passed away happy, knowing that in the end, he started to see some change this year, and the way this movement has been pushing forward, whether it be, changing of names or just trying to change the situation with how we deal with police and things of that nature. Things are moving in the right direction. I think he was probably proud of that.
Ivan, a very kind soul, a gentleman, such a sweet man, a courageous man, a kind man. Never met him, but every time I saw him, I saw grace. I saw a hero. I saw a guy that this is the type of leader that you want. Forceful, powerful, but just very kind, and was a beautiful soul. A nice person to be around. Had an eternal light about him. You know what I'm saying? Meshed with kids and older folks alike. I'm glad that we had him here on this earth.
No, likewise, and often I think that it's unfortunate that a lot of us don't learn about some of these iconic figures sooner.
Sure.
We learn a lot later down the road. Like you say, he's been 17 years in Congress, 16 years consecutive, and here I am, 41, and 17 years ago, I didn't know about John Lewis the way I probably should have, and largely it's because I feel like we in school a lot of times we don't learn about particular systems and people that's a part of the system like we should. And like you're saying, like here later, I'm just happy to be a part of an organization who had the opportunity to do something in relation to John Lewis and his documentary and everything like that. It definitely was is good to see that we was a part of something like that, and then now just I want to say unfortunate passing, but we have to learn to be grateful for people like that when they're here and the differences that they're trying to make in the world. And when they do go on, we have to have people stepping into those roles and keep fighting the good fight. And that's something that even in my particular industry is something that I try to carry on and something of that nature. And like in one of his quotes, be hopeful, be optimistic, never lose sense of hope. And that kind of sums me up here and there. And I need, to read things like that and get constant reiteration in everything that I'm doing and every day while I'm on earth and just like he did. And I think his presence was felt all across the world and it's definitely being felt more now. And I hope that a lot of people are teaching and letting people understand what he actually stood for, each and every day, from the 60s all the way up until, now. So definitely something that I'm going to be researching on and can't really wait to watch the movie. I'm behind, but I can't wait to sit down and watch it and see what a lot of things that took place that we should know.
Yeah, the documentary came out over 2 weeks ago on July the 3rd. So we did the stream 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks from today, 2 weeks previously, July the 5th. So sad times. Gonna miss John Lewis, a great American civil rights icon and a hero. Touched the world of sports too, because you saw some of the sports greats, LeBron and others, tweet about him. Also, we're a show about esports and traditional sports. We just talked about the traditional sports and also the esports. I saw video of him at Comic Con, walking around in the same sort of outfit or clothes that he had on when he marched on the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma. Had on the same sort of trench coat or whatever, little a raincoat or whatever jacket, and the same backpack. And he's walking around Comic Con with kids holding their hands. That's the type of man he was. Man, he would, he was the conscience of the Congress, and just a great American hero. So John Lewis will be missed. R.I.P. to the great John Lewis, who died Friday at the age of 80. This past Friday. All right, let's keep it here and get back to some sports here. Big story over the weekend, yesterday that actually came out. The Toronto Blue Jays, tried to get a petition to play in their home country. After all, they are in Toronto. Last time I checked, that is Canada. The government of Canada said, no, America, we don't want that smoke. We don't want your problems. So Toronto presented them with a plan. Hey, we can sort of quarantine at the Rogers Center, this old Sky Dome. They have a hotel. Don't know if you guys have ever been there. I've been to a couple of games there at Toronto. At the
That
Sky
hotel
Dome,
is infamous.
Yeah, the hotel. Yeah, you got rooms there. You can quarantine there. Even the Blue Jays were going to pay off the rent and sort of leases for some of the players up to $20,000, giving them some money as well. The Blue Jays were talking about having other major league teams quarantine in there in the hotel and the baseball field, but it was not good enough. And a lot of people say, well, this is unfair. National Hockey League, they get to sit here and have two, not one, but two hubs in Canada, in the great country of Canada. But it's a little different. That is a hub. They are quarantined. They're in a bubble. Major League Baseball teams would come in and out of Canada. That's probably not going to work. So now they're looking at possibly playing in Dunedin, which is down there in Florida, which is their spring training home, or Buffalo, which is their AAA affiliate at Shawlin Stadium in Buffalo. I've been by there a couple of times. Looks like, if I had to guess, probably Buffalo gets the nod, but they've got an issue with their lights. They're not up to standard for Major League Baseball. I know that a facelift about 8, 9, 10 years ago, but not up to standard and haven't had enough time to sort of change the lights over. If they would have come up with this conclusion like 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe that would have given them a month to sort of change the lights there. Blue Jays' first home game, I think less than 2 weeks, a week and a half, July 29th. They open up the season, not too long, I think on the 24th or 25th. So what are you guys' thoughts about Toronto, the Blue Jays? No baseball in Canada for the first time since 68, I believe. Late 60s. We'll go with you, A. Willie.
It's interesting. I'm sure it's probably atypical for Americans, as the way that our country has been marketed. It's been marketed as this place that all people from all over the world want to come and visit, and also too, Americans like to go to other places as well. And so I think it's very interesting to see people saying to America, "No, nah." Not today. So,
no, we good. Y'all stay there. Don't come here.
Right.
We don't want your money. We don't want the high, almighty, powerful dollar. Y'all can keep it.
Exactly, and rightfully so. And especially when you look at it from a political and social standpoint, when you look at Canada as a nation, it's one of the few nations on the face of the earth that's not bordered by another nation. And it happens to be bombarded by the media and all the things that come from the United States, right? So it's so influenced by the United States, and the fact that they're like, nah, we don't want that, I think is also, again, another thing that's sort of atypical for Canada. And so the other thing I'll say about that as well is I'm sure Buffalo is like, we talked about this on the last show where Buffalo is trying to look for naming rights for the Bills, and it's getting so bad that a company called Tushy that makes bidets is like, hey, we'll put the naming rights on the city.
So they don't call it the toilet bowl?
The toilet bowl, right. So the city of Buffalo, I'm saying that because the city of Buffalo, and shout out to the mayor, Byron Brown there, Buffalo is like, man, we need some positive press. So come on, Blue Jays, play down here in Buffalo. And then the other thing too, for that also, I think it'd be good for the Blue Jays again, because if you're trying to realize you're trying to realize and recoup some of that loss of revenue that you'll see with people not being in stadiums in that nature. Why not go to a place where you sort of have a built-in fan base where you're 45 minutes away from
down
Toronto.
The QEW, baby.
Exactly.
Done it plenty of times.
Your AAA team plays there. So I think for that matter, I think it would be probably smart for them to be there, and it'd be a good look.
Yeah. Your thoughts on this, D-Dubs, man? The Buffalo Blue Jays. We actually showed a picture of that. It looked pretty good. I mean, look, the AAA team is there. Go to Buffalo. I know the players would like it. You're only 45 minutes, actually about more than like an hour. But straight down the, QEW, man. You're right there, T-Dot. Buffalo, it's all good, baby. Go to Niagara Falls, chill out and hang out. Go to Anchor Bar when you're done, get some wings. You're good, man.
That might be their best bet, just that they're just really not up to MLB standards codes. And I was reading something that said that they would try to get them up to speed as quickly as possible. But I believe Canada did the right thing. I'm not shocked by what Canada did. I don't blame them not one bit. I wouldn't let Americans up there either. You can't have Boston.
Talk about your fellow countrymen, man.
Man, listen, I got family in Montreal. When I was a kid, we would drive to Montreal all the time. I was just in Montreal like 2 years ago.
Montreal's nice. St. Catharines, man. They know how to party in Montreal.
That's the street right there.
I'm telling you, man. I got into some stuff up in Montreal.
You can't have, American League baseball teams going in and out of Canada from Boston. You got the Marlins got to come up there. Not the Marlins, the Tampa Bay Rays got to come up there. The Yankees got to come up there. In and out of
Orioles.
Yeah, I mean, it's just too much. You're just risking too much. At least with the NHL, they decided we're going to have just two hubs.
I think you would have the 4 teams from the AL East and then all 5 teams, or 3 of the 4. So they would have basically 8 teams, because I think they just play the AL East and the NL East for Toronto. So you would have about 7 or 8 teams throughout the year of the 60 games that you would play that would come into Toronto. I think 8 teams.
I'm going to use
not that many, but enough that it's
enough.
Enough.
But exactly. I'm going to use something that Antonio said last show. Behavior. When you look at the behavior, what's going on in Florida and in some of these other southern countries, we're not looked upon very well. It's how we've been handling this COVID. And if I'm Canada and I made it through all this mess and we got things under control, the last thing, I don't care how much money or what you paying off, how much money you willing to give me, I'm not going to risk my people for some baseball. I'm not doing it. So I think they did the right thing because right now, especially Florida's a hotbed. I just wouldn't risk it. Now, as far as the Blue Jays, you would have wished that they would have found this out sooner. But it looks like maybe Buffalo might be their best bet because do you really want to use the spring training facilities in Florida? Probably not. So
Well, but I mean, but you are used to it. They've got better amenities. I mean, look,
yeah,
spring training facilities. I mean, you're
mhm.
from Florida. You've been down in Florida.
Yeah,
They're really nice. The state has
yeah,
put a
yeah,
lot of money into it. The teams have put a lot of money into the facilities. They're not bad. They're just smaller major league facilities for the most part. Like you've been. I mean, the Tampa Yankees,
yeah.
George
They're
M.
not.
Steinbrenner Field is really
They're
nice.
not. They're not
Yeah,
bad,
yeah.
but you're kind of questioning
It's
the
better than
bubble.
it's usually better than your double A or triple A affiliate.
Yeah,
Yeah, you typically because it's
it,
tailored for you. You're there for
right.
like 2 months.
And it would be better than Buffalo, absolutely.
Yeah.
But now you're also hoping that your players will still be safe in the state of Florida.
The players, it seems like what I was reading and hearing, they're leaning more towards Buffalo. The players would like to be in Buffalo.
Right. And you're worrying about, somebody mixing up with someone else that might have it. And, I think Buffalo's safer than Florida because there's just so much more going on in Florida. Like every single night you
Exactly.
turn on the news, it's a new case. It's a new case. I'm here in Florida right now, but we're not out in the streets doing anything. We're hanging out with my mom. We're in our own little bubble. We're in the yard. It's a
You're
little
in the
bit different.
Warrell bubble.
We're in the Warrell bubble right now.
He in the double.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm not
Hey.
out in the streets throwing COVID parties and stuff like that.
Right.
So
Because they have them. I saw it on the news.
yeah,
At
I
the
don't
old
blame
station.
Canada. Hopefully
They're-
Toronto.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hopefully Toronto. They're just the Blue Jays will just figure it out and they're able to play baseball. But I don't blame Canada one bit.
Ivan Curtis, the OG. You see lots of parties in Orlando. I saw some outside of Orlando and Ocala from my old news station at West in Orlando. So they are throwing COVID and quarantine parties in Florida. It's a mess down there. But in the words of the great Young Thug and my boy Kevin Mamouset, I'm in the coop by myself. I used to go when I was 5. So that's right. That's my bubble. I'm in here by myself. OG, your
Speaking of
thoughts
partying,
on the Blue Jays?
I think Boosie was in Cincinnati having a swim party or something like that. And Cincinnati shut it down. So ain't no telling they probably gonna be getting shut down in a minute. But I don't think I think pretty much between A. Willie and Derwin, they pretty much patched up everything. At least from the angle that I see it, is that I'm not surprised with Toronto protecting Canada. Like I mean, I'm not surprised by that move because that's been a place where we haven't heard any noise or anything about what's going on. I think you had mentioned before about obviously healthcare and everything up there is a lot different structurally anyway. So.
It's
not
better.
surprised.
That's code for it's better.
Yeah. So the move to Buffalo seems likely, and like Derwin said, just the timing. Like I mean, here we are, some weeks out or whatever, and then they get the news. I think somebody's gonna get the codes up to standard and get the ball moving. Definitely don't foresee them going to Florida or anything like that, but. Buffalo would seem likely, and I think they'll do what's necessary here soon to make it happen some way, somehow.
They got to make the announcement. What's today? The 19th. Tomorrow's the 20th. Major League Baseball opens up like Wednesday or Thursday. I believe Thursday, right? The 24th. I think the Yankees play the Nationals. Everybody else opens up on the 25th. They'll be playing a week from like tomorrow or Tuesday. So they've got like literally, I think 10 days before their home opener. Like if I'm the Blue Jays players, I'm like, really? This is what we doing 10 days before the home opener? We got nowhere to play.
Right.
Go ahead, OG, real quickly.
I was saying like New York is, I think, entering what phase? They're in the entertainment. Like it's opening up pretty well.
Right.
So
everything except like Broadway and no sporting events. That's not going to happen.
Right.
For at least probably at least 30 more. Probably won't happen at all. You're not going to have fans at Yankee Stadium and Mets and Citi Field. So we'll see about that. Good stuff with the Blue Jays. I think Buffalo's the play there, man. And I want to make sure I get correct myself. look, America, we have the best health care. But our problems, the outcomes and the access, the accessibility of things has been a problem for a lot of our people. If you're not rich or on insurance, then yeah, you don't have access to healthcare, which is a damn shame. So I do want to put that out there in totality. Guys, let's move it from baseball to football. NFL training camps, they are going to open in 9 days, I believe, if my math is right. Yeah, July 28th. So 9 days here. Roger Goodell and NFL, the NFLPA, still trying to hammer out some last things with the CBA and work out some protocols to get back to play. You've seen a lot of the NFL players tweeting today, hashtag we want to play. They don't like some of the protocols and what some of the rules and structures have been placed on them. But NFL training camps, as we speak, they all will open up on July the 28th, so 9 days. Your thoughts on the NFL? Looks like we're going to get the NFL. We all thought we would. This thing is full steam ahead. Not surprised that the NFL is a little bullheaded. They do things at their own pace and they go full steam ahead. And it's like, hey, man, this train's moving. You better get on it. So they're pretty good at that. We'll start with you, D-Dubs. We'll go with you first.
Well, I know. Well, I was just reading something on this, and I know that the facilities open up tomorrow for Kansas City and Texas.
And Texas.
And
Texas.
No, rookies report like
the rookies
Tuesday.
Got to report tomorrow.
Yes. Tomorrow and Tuesday.
D is
and
right.
then training camps start the following week. Yes.
Okay. And I don't know if you're aware, but a number of top NFL players have been tweeting in the last hour about the NFL.
I just said that. All the players, hashtag we want to play. Yes.
We want to play, right. And Russell Wilson, you forget his wife is pregnant.
Drew Brees,
Patrick Mahomes, J.J. Watt.
Yes.
Stephon Diggs, Malcolm Jenkins, and Carson
Myles
Wentz.
Garrett. I saw Myles Garrett too. Yeah,
right.
A bunch of them.
And they're all pretty much saying the same thing. NFL, what are you guys doing? We need to know the rules, the protocol. How are you keeping us safe? And I go back to Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson's wife is pregnant. Right. He can't afford to be fooling around, going to a facility that he feels is not safe.
He doesn't want to go to the facility because he doesn't want to hear Future's music being played.
Man, listen. Future's the least of his concerns.
I got you.
Man, Russell ain't worried about no Future. He ain't worried about no Kaepernick.
Wait a minute.
Man, listen.
Found a way to bring Kaepernick.
Hey, I touched on something, didn't I? Hey, Willie, I got him, didn't
I? Anyway.
Sensational.
If the facility, you want to make sure that the protocol we're following what we need to follow to keep the players safe. Because the last thing Russell wants to do is get something and bring it back home to his pregnant wife. So, I mean, for me, that's grounds for me to say, listen, y'all get it together. Y'all won't see me at anybody's camp. I'm not playing. Sure. I mean, and I won't be surprised if the NFL doesn't step up and do something that you might start seeing that. Guys might not want to show up to a facility. If you got sometimes you got to put your foot on their neck if you want to get some results. Yeah. And we had a week, we opening up facilities, and the NFL still doesn't have solid guidelines.
And this is the most leverage that they would have before the season starts.
Exactly.
It's the time to go ahead and wield that power because owners typically win these battles.
Right. Just
big bank take little bank.
A Billy against the Millie. OT, your thoughts about Derwin? He made some salient points there. He's absolutely correct.
Yeah, protocol. The safety protocol definitely has to be first and foremost. I mean, for anybody to feel comfortable, because I've mentioned numerous of times, this is our most. I mean, like I guess when we think skin, as far as skin on skin contact, basketball and different things of that nature, but football is like it's guaranteed that. Like I said, we're gonna be breathing across from one another. Like we're gonna be, talking trash to one another in the locker rooms. It's kind of, you gotta.
Shower together. I guess they can take that out. They can cut all that out.
But it's only
talking about arriving. I think they're talking about arriving at the games in their uniforms. Like, this is high. What do you do? High school?
I know. That's Pee Wee almost.
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do, but go ahead.
But it's just like it's one of those things that's like it's one of your larger roster sports. More people involved. So definitely, you would think the safety protocol has to be probably larger than any other sporting event. I mean, because it just due to the numbers in nature. So definitely, I think that's something that needs to be addressed or enforced heavily to make those players feel safe to come back, other than just them wanting to play. Because obviously, all of them want to play, but
Sure.
you know, when you start throwing in like what Derwin was mentioning, you know, a lot of players expecting, you know, they have wives and expecting and different things of that nature, and already having kids and not really knowing how everything is going to be conducted. I mean, it's not only worrisome for the players, but you know, their families and everybody involved.
Yeah, good stuff. Hey, Willie, your thoughts? NFL training camps, like you said, rookies and others will be reporting literally within the next 24 to 48 hours. Everyone reports next week.
It's interesting to me because one of the things that we hear about the NFL as well, if it's one thing that can derail the NFL, it's safety and lawsuits, right? So with that being said, here we are again with the NFL not being clear or not being fully developed and impactful with safety issues with players, whether it's helmets, now we have COVID-19. So it's really shining the light on the fact that what players are saying from a safety standpoint is, hey, I know this game generates a lot of money, but are you concerned about the safety of players, whether it's present or long-term? So with that being said, here's another issue with it where you have JJ Watt, literally as he's tweeting out all of the issues. And some of them is, what's the testing protocol? Are we going to do this every day, et cetera? You guys haven't given us any answers on that. And of course, the other, go ahead, D.
No.
I love how he raised his hand.
No, that was for Larry. But no, go on, finish your point.
And so the other thing too, when they were talking about with what happens once a player tests positive, and if they are now, once they test positive, or once they come back into the bubble to play, what's the protocol there? Is a person allowed, once they test positive, are they allowed to just leave and not come back?
There's no bubble. The guys are going home. There's no bubble.
Right. Well, are they allowed to come back to their team, or are they allowed to say, you know what, I'm not coming back at all?
Well, my thing is, I want to see one of these star quarterbacks get the coronavirus, and they have to sit down for 2 to 3 weeks. I want to see how that really goes.
How they react to it.
Yeah, I'm very skeptical of all of this.
The season's done.
So one of the other things too that I like to see is whenever we have, and what we're talking about here is we're talking about CBA issues. We're talking about collective bargaining issues.
Sure.
And we're between the players union and the league. And so oftentimes what we see is when we see players that are in these leadership positions, what they're really advocating for is they're advocating for the rest of the players in the league, because no matter what the system is, the stars will be taken care of because they're the ones that move the needles. Mm-hmm. So we need those prominent players, those players that have an impactful presence on the league to use their platform for the betterment of everybody. And the fact that they're doing that now is something that's really encouraging to me. And as Derwin said, it's not often that you have leverage. So when you have it, you need to exercise it. So
actually, I was saying that. Don't give Derwin credit for that. I said that.
He said it, man.
I know. I said that. Seriously,
I got to rock with D on this one.
No.
Hey, D.
Yeah.
Larry, I got to say this.
The record.
So I got to rock with D on this one. He's talking about leverage with players.
D, keep in mind. Hold on. That was me.
D said it. Hold on.
No, I said it.
Relax. Time out.
Keep in mind.
Yes.
Cam is in the league.
Cam
is in the league, D.
Cut his mic.
So
you did it 3 times.
Cam is in the league.
I said the leverage. The players have it now. They have to wield it.
What did Derwin say about?
I don't know. I said that part. That's all I know.
Hold on, man.
He wasn't listening.
Moderating, not listening.
What was it, around the horn?
So now you're moderating and not listening, and then here we go, Flex.
He ain't saying nothing.
In the background, you got your Louis bag, Flex King again, man. Come on, dude. Like, stop, man. Always flexing on us.
Stop, man. Stop. Let's get OG in here. OG, you're like Congressman Lewis. You're the conscience of this show. Can you correct the record? Who said something about the leverage and the players wielding it right now while they have it? Who said
why y'all putting me on? I don't even think I was here when y'all said it.
Oh, God.
I
But it
mean,
is your turn.
but to save grace, Larry said it, man. Like,
All right.
I said, no, real talk, I did. Joe had said everything else, but I said that.
I know you did, man. I'm
I
giving
know,
you
I
a
know.
hard time.
I know you. And it makes me. It's a good point for me to come in and that's
that
what
don't
we all get
sound
along.
that don't sound Derwin like, because depending on the player, he can care less about the player.
Cam is in the league.
Exactly. Hey, Derwin's gonna do this. He's gonna raise that little finger, little pointer finger. Hey, my turn. I got to get in
I
here.
will wait my turn.
Yeah, you come in next. I know I'm going to you, dog. I already know. Go ahead, OG.
Go ahead, Derwin.
Well, I mean, I've always kind of questioned how much the NFL really cares about their players. With these Thursday night games, I question that. I don't think 3 days to recoup from a Sunday game, and you want these guys. And I love football just as much as anybody, but we've heard about putting, advertisements on the lower part of the bowl. We've heard about allowing how many fans could be getting into the stadium, maybe 20%. We hear about all this other stuff, but we're not hearing about the safety of these players. And we got a week to go. Why are we hearing about everything else, but not the safety of the players? Without the players, you have no league. The NFL is quick to push. They're quick to push. Oh, we want an 18-game season. It's all about revenue. But when you got your stars, Mahomes again, Patrick Mahomes, J.J. Watt, who's always vocal, Russell Wilson saying, listen, you need to listen to us. Stephon Diggs, you need to listen to your players. And even Stephon Diggs in his tweet, he talked about the NBA, how they're doing things. You need to listen to your players. If not, they might use their leverage and decide, we're not going to show up.
It's a good time to use it right now. The good time like no time. OG, go ahead quickly.
The only thing I was going to add to it is, and the only thing I can keep thinking about is,
and not to mention CTE. That's a totally different topic, but we were talking about concussions and things of that nature. But go ahead, OG.
The basketball tournament did it. They did it successful. However, their testing methods was. Also, I mean, it's probably a combination of the players willing to be disciplined and probably not going out and doing riskful things. So I think that definitely has to be the staple of protocol, because they completed an event, a physical event, and no issues. I mean, prior to the beginning, but during and the end of it, I mean, it went successful, and I mean, I think that's something to model after, whatever methods they use.
Sure. Coach K, you had your finger up. It looked like Derwin back there. Go
ahead. All right. Now, real quick, Larry, when you mentioned that, basically they're not going to be in a bubble, like they're going to play games and go to practice and come and go as they please and everything. And also, sidebar, OG, for the basketball tournament, right? They were in a bubble, right? Or not?
Yeah, they were. They were.
No,
okay.
They were.
Okay. So,
see, and this will be the first one where people are outside the bubble. You're going to get this also in Major League Baseball. So 3 of the sports, Major League Soccer, the NBA, and what else? NHL will technically have bubbles. The NFL and MLB will be outside the bubble. Well, so this is what we have to look forward to.
So I think we'll see this. I foresee this.
No, let's put good juju out there, man. I want my damn football.
No. It is. It's good for the NFL. It's good for the NFL.
All right. Put it out there into the universe,
man.
Okay,
so now you notice how people react in terms of steroids towards MLB and NFL.
Oh, I know what you're going. They're talking about this.
Right?
Let them recover. I've seen that.
So
for
MLB, when someone get caught with steroids, sky's falling. For NFL, it's whatever, man. 2 games. It's like nothing. It's like he sprained his finger. Do you ever notice the difference in how they cover steroids in NFL and MLB? I feel like it's going to be the same thing. And plus 2, kind of like what we were talking about yesterday, Larry, in terms of like the Blue Jays like being restricted, but hockey, even though they are in a bubble and everything like that, I think even though hockey is Canada's football, so it's like, we're gonna, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need our hockey. We're not gonna
we got to have hockey, right?
Same thing with NFL. Trust me, they're gonna bend over backwards to make sure NFL goes on.
It's funny you bring that up. I read something last night where they're talking about maybe you get some of these performance enhancers and allow these guys to use it if it helps them get back on the field and to fight the coronavirus too. So there's a lot out there. I don't want to get too much down into this rabbit hole, but look, I'm just hoping that everyone can pull this off inside the bubble, outside the bubble. We need our sports back, but it's got to be done in as safe a manner as possible. I just don't know how you're going to do this, man. With what's the NFL? Almost 1,500 players.
Yeah.
Gosh, man, 32 different cities.
Right.
You're going to have cases. The question is, can they keep that damn number like 5% or less? That's all we can hope for. Definitely under 10, but maybe 5% or less, because I've been really impressed with the baseball numbers and the hockey numbers from a testing standpoint, the low positivity rate. So we'll see how this goes. Let's move to the NBA. We're just talking about the NBA. James Harden, mask on. No, bro, take that mask off, bro. Like, James, I love you, man. You got to know what you're putting on. Coach Ken and I, we were talking about this last night. We're showing the pictures now, the thin blue line or the Blue Lives Matter mask. He says that he was wearing it. It's comfortable. It covers his mouth, his nose, and his beard. Definitely understand that's a lot of damn beard there. But I mean, you got to understand the sort of backlash that you can receive and what you're representing as well. I even got a checkerboard. I got a checkerboard face mask, and I'm like, all right, people are gonna think I'm a big NASCAR homer or something. I mean, someone made it for me, but I was thinking like that, like, all right, what am I wearing on my face? So, just want to get your thoughts on James Harden wearing the thin blue line. I'll set the skull on it, as well for the Blue Lives Matter and everything that's going on in the country with the civil unrest, police brutality, social justice reform, racial justice reform, and also criminal justice reforms, all the damn reforms out there and what we're going through as a nation. We'll start with you, Durham, because you put your hand up in the
air. Well, I don't know.
I mean, you can't knock him. I mean, but look, you know better now. Take the damn thing off, or you got to suffer the consequences. No, he doesn't have to take it off.
Well,
but
I can't.
You got to know what you're putting on, then.
Yeah, and I can't. I'm not gonna knock him. We're living in a climate right now where you're either on this side, you're on that side. So I know that by him wearing it, people are going to be offended. They're saying, it looks like he's saying he's not on Black Lives Matter side. So people are forced right now to choose.
What could be further from the truth? Because he marched there. I mean, he's playing in Houston where George Floyd is from. So I totally get that. And, just to be fair, in all fairness.
I mean, and during this moment, can we not support police? Some of the police that are good policemen that do their job?
Yeah.
I mean, I know I got a couple of friends that are police officers. I think they're good people. But I can't kill him for it, but I could understand why. He's going to get backlash for it because of the movement that's going on right now. You're forced to choose sides. No one's allowing anybody to straddle the fence right now. So, like LeBron said,
I'm on the side of good. How about that?
I'm on the side of good too.
Yeah.
But I mean, me personally, I'm not going to kill him for wearing that mask, sure. Especially if he's someone that's known to have done so much good for the cause. I'm not going to forget I'm not going to forget his body of work, his resume, because this particular day, who knows? Maybe it was the first thing he saw to put on. He just wanted to cover himself because he needed to go outside somewhere. I don't know.
OG, I believe it. I believe it to be an honest mistake. I don't think he was making a political statement here. But this is the world we live in, man. There's cause and effect. When I met Coach K, I told him, I said, basically sports and how we do TV and how we shoot it and how we cover it and produce it. Coach K, what do I always say about sports? Action, reaction. And this is exactly what we're going through right now.
Yeah, I got a few vintage points. Like, I mean, it's James Harden. Like, I mean, he said he wore it because he thought it looked cool. Like, he didn't really, from what I read, he didn't really think too much about it. Or I don't even think the way it was portrayed.
He had no idea.
He didn't have no idea.
It was thin blue line. He had no idea.
And the thing about it is, I mean, I can accept that, but then at the same time, for public figures, I mean, because most of us in here, that's what we are, is that we have to be conscious of what we're putting out there on social media.
What do
Because
people say all the time? No ignorance to the law, right?
yeah, because we're influencers, and when you wear something or you say something or quote something, you have people following you that can easily get behind it, whether you know what you're doing or not. And spreading ignorance at any point in time is not a great thing. I mean, so I just advise that people be aware and be conscious of what you're doing when you decide to share it with the public. It'd been one thing like if he was at home and he put that on it, and then one of his friends like, hey bro, what you doing, like, do you know what that means?
Mhm.
And because I'm gonna be honest with you, when I seen it, I messaged somebody that I seen commented on it, and I said, hey, what is it? Because initially I didn't know. So he messaged me back and told me what it meant, and I was grateful for that, because I like to be educated too. And then even like like piggyback on what Durbin was saying, in the climate that we're living in right now, saying that I have some good friends that are policemen. It's kind of like white people saying like, yeah,
I got a good
I got
couple
some
of
good
black
friends.
Yeah,
Like
I know some good
that,
black people.
yeah, that and all we're saying in the midst of everything is hold people accountable and punish those who need to be punished. Whether that's racist, whether that's bad cops, like we're not saying turn your back on the cops or anything like that. But let's make an example out of those who are not, enforcing the law in a positive manner, in the correct way. I mean, there are people there are police officers that are abusing their power, and we witness it every day, and nothing is being done about it. And that's really the cry out. And when you look at something as simple as, like, some people will play it like it's not a big deal, but it is a big deal, because we still have situations that have not been dealt with, due to the policemen, taking things in their own hands, and not being held accountable for it. And that's really what it comes down to. So it's just about being mindful about what you put out in social media, and when you have that type following like he has, it's definitely important.
Hey Willie, when I first heard about it, I saw it. I'm like, okay, thin blue line. I didn't know what it was, but when I saw the mask, I'm like, I know that mask. So I didn't know it was called the thin blue line. I just thought it was Blue Lives Matter, because you can see the blue lines with the American flag and things of that nature, the star, and then you got the skull on it. I'm like, okay, I think I've seen that before. If I saw that right now, probably wouldn't pick it up, or I would at least ask, like, okay, what is this? This looks like something that I've seen that is probably not supportive of the things that my people are fighting for right now. So, your thoughts on that? And once again, not trying to kill James Harden, but this has been a big story in the association.
For me, what it speaks to is, so one of the things that OG said, which really makes me think is, and Darren was talking about it as well, when people say immediately, the response is, well, not all cops are bad. And so what you're asking for from us,
Well, not all
and
black people are bad either.
that's what I'm saying. What you're asking for in our most painful moments is the ability to discern who's bad and who's not. And that's exactly what we ask from whether it's government officials, whether it's whether it's teachers, whether it's people that are in the corporate settings, whether it's government officials, cops, you name it. And so don't police us as if we're all bad. And so for me, when you look at James and he using this scarf, is this mask, one of the things is, when you are a brand, it's so weird, because you are representative of the things that you wear, of the things that you say, etc. But at the same time, one of the things that we know is money creates liberty. We talk about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Pursuit of happiness.
So
yes.
when you have money, you're now free, and it frees you to do whatever it is that you want to do, to a certain extent. So James has over 200 million guaranteed from Adidas. James has over 200 guaranteed from Houston, the Rockets. So what it does is it creates this augmented reality that you're not really part of reality. And so that now some of your behavior, because you're not really part of reality, you sort of don't think about your connection to reality. So I can buy the fact that he actually picked up this mask and had no idea what it represented.
Sure.
I buy that, and especially when he talked about the events in Minnesota, when he said we are all standing together, and that's him part of it as well. And one of the things that you all keep alluding to that I actually agree with is in the very same pieces that you read where James is quoted as saying we're all standing together in this. And when people are talking about his mask, then they'll put Dwight Howard saying maybe we shouldn't play basketball right now is taking attention away. So again, within people that are standing together, you created an aisle. And so that's one of the things that I don't like, where you have two people standing together and we're all on the same side of the fence. And on that side of the fence, you're still trying to create an aisle. And so that's one of the things that, again, I'm not absolving James from blame, but at the same time, I can't kill him because as a fashion guy, I believe that he picked that thinking that it looked cool.
Right. Well, when you look at those two masks, there's, the thin blue line, and then there's the thin blue line skull, and he had on the thin blue line skull. So hopefully, James, we'll learn something from this. I think we all are learning from this. I mean, look, we all make mistakes. No one's perfect. Like I said, it's the actions and the reaction, so it's the cause and the effect. We'll see how he, moves going forward. Hopefully he won't wear it again, or, be prepared to answer some questions about,
he probably won't wear it again.
Yeah, probably not.
He
Probably not.
Yeah.
But you can see, when he had it on, we showed all the pictures of him having it on. I mean, he, probably felt it was cool.
Adidas better make one that looks like a beard or something.
I mean, I was gonna say, I'm sure Adidas can give him a nice one. Yeah.
Somebody probably now will probably make him one.
Right.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, just put his beard on it.
Yeah.
Put his beard on it.
I mean, as soon as I saw
Well,
it,
I mean, I've seen T-shirts and other things with the outline of his beard, so I'm sure you can get that made. He's got some money. He's got connections.
Yeah. As soon as I saw it, I immediately associated it with police because I've seen those colors before.
Exactly.
Like, so I've seen it up here in New York. So I knew it had something to do with police, and then I started thinking about it. I said, "Oh, this is going to cause a stir."
I mean, my thing is this: it's like I know we see it all the time. Like people are speaking out with their pain towards the police and different things that have taken place. And then you see a lot of people that sometimes obviously particularly don't look like you and I. Everybody is on this panel, and they defend the police with the quickness and it's
benefit
like
of the doubt. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's like we can go back years ago where these were the same police officers where we couldn't even walk down the street without being beaten and harassed and things like that. I mean, we have, for certain periods of time, you can look and think like, yeah, in a lot of angles we've came a long way, but there's still more to travel and deal with and correct because here it is resurfacing all over again. And that's the thing about it that I just find like, why is it so hard to understand that?
Go ahead. Hey, Willie, real quick. 10 seconds. Move on.
No, I was just going to echo what OG was saying because in the 80s, I wasn't there when this was happening, but in the 80s in Boston, you had Black people just being arrested because someone falsified a story of them actually killing their wife. So you had that. And then also too, in New York, you had stop and frisk. So, to OG's point, and those things where you have that over policement, it overwhelmingly affects us.
Sure.
So so these are things where you have these conversations with people. These are things that are in recent history. This isn't 1900s. This is recent.
Well,
history.
hell, we can just go back a month ago. The bird watcher, the young African American guy here in New York City, with the woman, the Karen, calling them. We call that weaponizing the damn police, and that's exactly. But a lot of these, and I think she got. I think they did something to her. I don't know if
she lost her job.
And I think she got. There was something criminally
indicted.
Yeah, there's a new law. And there's a new law.
Well,
he's trying to be a good guy about it, but also I believe a new law as well about calling 911 and trying to weaponize the police for.
They took her dog. They took her dog too.
And she lost a dog.
Oh, okay.
He damn near choking that dog.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
How ironic was that? Calling the police on a Black man and you're doing animal cruelty back there.
Right.
Like, what the hell?
Right.
So let's move on. We'll keep it in the NBA. We'll talk about Melo. Guys, we've seen the different iterations of Carmelo Anthony. We've seen the from Syracuse, the young baby face with the the braids at Denver. We saw Olympic Mello. Then a couple of years ago, we saw Hoodie Mello, which was big here, or was big up there because I'm in Nashville now, in the tri-state area. And now we get Skinny Mello, dude. He is skinny as hell. It's like he's vegan or he's just on a water diet or something. But Mello looked like he dropped about 40, 50 pounds, man. He looks good. I want to shout out to Mello, man. My favorite is Hoodie Mello. But Skinny Mello, hey, Skinny Mello's a pretty cool thing too, man. We'll start with you, hey Willie. What do you think about Skinny Mello, man? And is he ready to light it up for the Blazers?
I like it. It's as a scorer, that's one of the last things to go as you age in your game, because one of the things that Melo does not get credit for is when people talk about his scoring, they don't talk about how he scores, right? Melo actually scores with few dribbles. One of the terms
ISO mid-range.
Right. So, but he uses footwork. He uses his body. So one of the things that from a scouting perspective, one of the terms that I like to use is when I'm evaluating scores, I like to see if do they score in the open court when nobody's around them, or do they score in traffic? One of the terms I use is, do they score in a phone booth, right? When there are a bunch of people around you, can you create a bucket? And that's how you have to score when you're in the playoffs. That's how you have to score when you're against good teams, because they're so sound defensively. You just got to have a guy that can make a play. So now with them bringing their full complement of players, now Melo gets bumped to the 3. And I also feel like from a longevity standpoint, it's probably better for his joints to lose weight. And the other thing is, as he's producing, he was having a good year in his resurgence in Portland. Now being in better shape allows him to elongate the amount of time that he can be successful on the floor and play longer stretches. And also, again, just be able to get a bucket on a good team without somebody having to drop a play for him. So I like it.
Hey, OG, we showed the picture of him also, double pump, backwards dunk, like off a drop step. And I was like, whoa, that's what happens when you lose, I don't know how many pounds he lost. It looks like he's lost 20, 30, 40 pounds.
Right.
It looks good, man. It's helping the joints, man, and the hops. He's got a little bounce, a little pep in his step right now, OG.
I'm sure, his son probably had a lot to do with that too. I mean, he's probably got a lot of time to spend with him. They probably both been in the gym.
Yeah.
He obviously, he's showing his son how to stay around in the league, as long as he has and still be effective. So I think he's definitely made the best of this off time. Melo has taken numerous shots of.
What is this for Melo? 18 years now? 17, 18?
17, same as
17.
LeBron.
Yeah, same as LeBron and D Wade.
Yeah,
03.
Yeah, and
damn, this is 18th year actually.
Yeah,
17th or 18, one of them.
Yeah, one of them. And basically, he's taking a lot of shots because he hasn't been the most defined. I never really thought. I thought for like A. Willie said, like he plays a lot in the pinch post, like in half court and different things like that. So I never really looked at his figure to be all that bad because he used his body well. I mean, he always got
Paul
to the
Pierce. I need a little weight on him because they got that mid range. They're big guys, 6'7", 6'8".
Playing
now mind you, when Melo first came into the league compared to now, it's a much quicker game and more perimeter oriented. So it definitely makes sense. Because even beyond him playing in the half court in the post, I mean, he's a nice spot up shooter. So it allows him to get up and down the court quicker, get to his spots, and be able to get shots up. And then if he has to go to the post, I'm sure he can still do that. But
sure,
I like the look, and I mean, I hope it pays off. Like I said, for his joints and everything. And you notice, like most players, as they age, especially the scorers, they try to get to a slender build, and it's a good thing to see. I mean, definitely after he's been accused of being a little chubby here and there and everything like that. But I mean, he is 6'8". Like, I mean, he's not like a little guy.
Exactly.
So,
Right.
D-Dubs, what do you like? USA or Olympic Mello, Hoodie Mello, or Skinny Mello? I'm gonna call him the Skinny Pimp, man. Since we're
in that
Mafia, the Skinny Pimp is in the house.
Well, I definitely like it for him, and piggyback on what Antonio said. Him being a little bit leaner. I know when you get a little bit older, I call it old man weight. You sort of put on a little bit of old man weight.
No, you're being nice. It's the dad bod.
Yeah. I mean, there was once a time in my life when I used to work out in the gym a lot, but
Man, I
decades
stood
ago.
next to my son last night. I put it on Instagram a little while ago, and I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, that's what happens when you're in shape and you're fucking 20 and you're not in shape and you're like
Yeah.
43.
And I know
And I'm in decent shape, but I'm like, wow, I'm not as thin and svelte as he is,
Right.
And, Melo probably did not lose that much weight, but he's put on some muscle. He's gotten a little bit leaner. I think it's going to add some longevity to his game. Maybe a couple of years, maybe if he can keep the weight down. I think it's going to help him tremendously. And at the position that he's playing, he wants to be able to still move around, and not having that extra weight is going to be so instrumental for that whole Portland team. So I love it. I love that he's in really great, looks like he's in great shape and he's ready to go. So I like the new Melo.
Well, I'll watch Melo in about 12 days when the NBA kicks off July 30th. Or in the next less than 2 weeks. Can't wait to watch the NBA down in the bubble at Disney World, in the Mouse House down in Central Florida. We'll keep it in the NBA. Dame Lillard, we know about his rap exploits, if you will. He's a trapper. He's a rapper. Actually, has some pretty good lyrics, man. He's got some game, man. We've seen him rap with Lil Wayne, NBA All Star Weekend, other folks. Now Dame took the studio with him to the hotel room down at Disney, man. So it's like, hey, man, he about his business. He's about his craft, if you will. I noticed the setup, not a lot to it, but then again, you think about it, you don't need a whole lot. He's got a really good mic, and that's pretty much it. What did Jay-Z say? All I need is one mic, right? And hey, Dame Lillard, man.
That's Nas. Come on, man. Come on, man.
My bad. Wrong New York rapper. My bad.
And all New York rappers are the same, bro. Come on, man.
We don't all look the same, Larry.
What are you trying to say? I'm Marco Rubio?
Yeah, man.
Whose man's is this? Whose man's is this?
Kevin, get your man.
Or the senator from Alaska?
Right,
How about
exactly.
I wasn't nearly that bad, but look, I am a brother, so I can get away with that, Marco.
Right.
The great Nas. All he needs is one mic. We'll start with you, A Willie. Dame Lillard, man. Dame time.
Again, as a hip hop guy, I certainly respect Dame as a lyricist, and we know this. Where we have right now with entertainment and sports sort of colliding. Entertainers want to be athletes. Athletes want to be entertainers. And, I, as a basketball player, we've had a lot of hoopers that don't represent in the lyricism category. So when I get one, I got to claim them, right? So yeah, for sure, Dame. And what I like is also too is we talk about following protocol in the bubble is one. And here's a guy that actually said players aren't going to follow protocol in the bubble, and I'm worried about that. So Dame playing video games and rapping and having 4-Bar Friday when he interacts with up-and-coming rappers on Instagram is something that's really good. And one of the other things,
he just like some rap battles or something like that, right?
Yeah. So what he does
to promote these young guys, I like.
Yes, and it resonates with his grind, being an under-scouted, under-evaluated player. He returns that back, so it's organic to his platform.
And being from Oakland and the name Dollar meaning something. It's an acronym.
Right, exactly. It's all organic to his platform. And so one of the other things that I like as well that Dame has said, he actually made a song called Blacklist, which is talking about the current climate and events that we're in. But even though he made that song, one of the things that Dame says and he's steadfast about is in his commentary on us as a people, which I like, he actually said, I'm not an activist. And that resonates with me because it seems like with all of the cultural influence that we have, we are also the only group of people that rely on our athletes and entertainers to be our activists. And most of them haven't been civically trained to do that. So again, if you choose to be educated and become an activist, when you're an athlete or an entertainer, great. But because you're an athlete or an entertainer, I don't think that requires you to be an activist. Leave that to the great C.T. Vivian. Leave that to the great John Lewis. So I like the fact that Dame said that. And again, maybe I'm an outlier here, but I don't think because you're an athlete, it requires you to be a leader, especially if you're not educated on it.
Yeah. Derwin, your thoughts? Dame Lillard, man. Dame time, man. Hey, He got skills, man. He's a lyricist. He can rap. Like, no cap, he can.
Yeah, no cap. But two things here. Piggybacking off of what Antonio said, I think Antonio's right, but I think, unfortunately, I think sometimes we push our athletes to be activists. And that's not right, you know? I've always been against that. Sometimes, you know, just because I make a lot of money and I'm a star, I don't need to be in that. That's not my arena. And now you're pushing me because I'm silent and I'm not really saying anything. You're pushing me to go into the forefront of something I really don't know much about. I don't have the education to be that type of leader. So I want to throw that out. One thing I do love about this is that he's found something to do in his spare time other than basketball. So I don't have to worry about Damian Lillard getting into trouble with this, you know, leaving the bubble. He's found something else to do. I hope that some of these other players will find something to do in their spare time so they don't leave the bubble or bring some people in the bubble. I saw some stuff this weekend online.
What he said. What did Spencer Dinwiddie tell your sister, Larry? What did he tell her?
What, Renee?
No, what did he tell Taylor Rooks?
About the snitch hotline. The snitch hotline.
Yeah, but what did he say before that? Don't fly LA workout.
That's right. No, you got to explain to people what that means. That's coded language.
Well, what did you just say, D, about what we saw about some stuff on Instagram?
You got to explain it to people.
Yeah,
we know, but you got to tell people.
Don't what?
NBA might be concerned with, well, the article that I saw talked about
so you having a hard
Instagram
time with this.
model.
You want me? Oh, thank you.
Yes,
the
Instagram model.
There we go.
And
don't
there was one young lady
out.
Yeah, there was one young lady she tweeted that she's already been invited to the bubble.
Yes.
And she said, this is not going to last. And you got some of these guys that, whether they're married or not, maybe they're not married, you expecting these men to be in a bubble for 3 and 4 months.
Young millionaires.
Young millionaires. Come on, bro.
I
come on.
You don't think they can be celibate?
Hell no.
Hey.
Oh, man.
You
naive. That's why there is a snitch line. That's why. The NBA ain't stupid. They're not dumb. They're not dumb. They need all the help that they can get.
Hey, the best job in America in 2020 is the Instagram model. What a hell of a title. Go ahead, Coach K. Hell of a title.
Don't bring the bubble to the bubble, okay?
Well, and just think, remember, we thought they had a shot because they're going to Orlando instead of Vegas.
Nah, man.
Remember, that was the option, Orlando or Vegas. And they chose the right option, and it doesn't matter. But I just want to know, explain to people why he said don't fly LA workout. When he said it, I knew what he meant. I'm thinking, all right, you got your IG models out there or whatever, your thoughts.
Right.
Shout out to Renee. She said something about me looking like a thought the other day. I'm about to get with you on that. I'm about to get with you on that. She's trying to be nice. I'm going to get with you on that. I know. That was a different story. But since we're talking about that thoughtness and IG models, what is LA workout?
Don't LA work are again, Instagram models, a subset of very attractive women.
Why they call it LA work? Oh, so it's like that work, get that work, right? The LA work,
right.
Okay.
A subset of very attractive women.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. I mean, and this is probably normal work that wouldn't be working during season would be over.
OG, your thoughts, Dame Lillard, man. He's got a mic kind of like yours, had a screen on it and everything.
Hey,
he got that OG mic, that OG 2 cents mic.
But no, I like Dame, and I actually like his flow and everything. And I mean, and the thing about it is like, it was so many jewels dropped between A. Willie and Derwin talking about how we push our Black athletes to be activists and different things of that nature. But sticking to the rap aspect of it is that he's using his platform to not only, just get out what he wants to do besides playing basketball. He's helping other artists and shining light on them as well. And then understanding, I think A. Willie hit on it, it's like we look at Dame as this $200 million man now. but he was coming out of Weber State. Nobody was talking about Dame Lillard like that.
I
Nobody.
think Dame Lillard, I think self freaking made, man.
Yeah, like I mean, it's the same. Kind of falls in that same category with Steph coming from Davidson. A lot of these, guards coming from these smaller colleges, and people really having doubt. And like they think the one thing that I don't want to get lost in some of the things that, like, sometimes when athletes are rapping or talking about their stories and different struggles, is don't look at where he's at now. Look at what he came up in and how he overcame it, and those are some of the stories that he raps about and different things of that nature. So,
Sure.
and that's easy to get lost because somebody's making millions of dollars.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to keep that light on it. But just that I hate that we're we're the main culture that just because somebody makes a lot of money, whether it's an entertainer, whether it's an athlete or whatever, it's like you're saying, that's not their realm. They can be supportive to the causes.
Yes.
But they don't look at them to be the activists
Right.
that are actually out in the streets, and this is what they do. And this is the way he's passionate about music and being a basketball player is the same way someone else is passionate.
Well, there are a plethora of ways to be supportive. It's not all about
exactly.
being the mouthpiece. You can support financially, emotionally, different energies, a lot of different ways to
Because
support.
the first thing you hear from one of us is he got the money.
Right.
He can do more than what, you're always hearing all that. And it's like, and at the end of the day, I always say, what are you doing? Like, before you put the light on somebody else and thinking what they should be doing. But I like it. It's perfect. I mean, when he's not practicing, when he's not playing, I guarantee he's probably going to be, it's going to be a good summer for him. I mean, he's going to probably lay down a lot of tracks.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff to talk about. He's going to see a lot of stuff that's going on that can add to his creative juices and stuff like that. So I think it's great.
And not only that, inspirational and also motivating. The young folks out there, the younger generation that aspire to be entertainers or rappers or musicians or artists. Look, the guy literally just has a mic, a computer, and a mic screen, and he's dropping gems down there in the bubble, not making any excuses. If this guy can do it in the freaking NBA, where the demands on you are so great, there is no excuse for you not to be in the hood or in the trap doing your best to come up with something, whether it's trying to get into a studio or doing it yourself to sort of, advance your own career. So I like it. Good message all the way around. Let's move to back to the gridiron. We haven't talked Canadian Football League ever on this show, I don't think. Not one damn time. But we are now. We're talking about the Edmonton Eskimos. I know that name. Know the colors, same colors as the Green Bay Packers, that green and gold. Same sort of issue that we see with the Redskins or the Washington football team, Cleveland Indians, Atlanta Braves, and all the other sports franchises in this country that have, demeaning and derogatory names. The Eskimos up there in Alaska, if you know anything about it, and indigenous people, the Inuits up there. So there's some talk. The team released a statement the other day. They're undergoing a review as well. The more you read about stuff like that up in Canada, seems like you'll probably get something that will come down this week or next week with the Edmonton Eskimos. Looks like they're probably leaning towards changing the name. Your thoughts on the Edmonton Eskimos, the Edmonton football team? Let's if it's racist or if it's demeaning or derogatory, we shouldn't say it as well. The Edmonton Football Club up in Alberta, and also the government's behind it as well. They had some things going on with the government, some hearings and things of that nature in Canada as well. You think this thing is going to go by the wayside? We'll start with you, OG, with the Edmonton football team changing their name.
It seems like, obviously at the end of the day, everything it always comes back to money. They're talking about how much it costs. It potentially would cost to change the name of these organizations, even as much as the Redskins and the Eskimos. And my thing, as far as being offensive, is that I dislike how people, just because it doesn't bother you, it's not a big deal.
You're not the offended party, so it shouldn't bother you.
Right. So, like, for me, it's like if
it should all bother us all. If I see an old woman getting beat up outside my dang hotel window right now, that should bother me.
And my thing is, if we're talking about it now, it's a problem. Like it's a pro. I mean, and we need to acknowledge it. I mean, and the funny thing about it is, for years, a lot of things that we're talking about now, it has been a problem. It just hadn't got to the point where people felt like it was where we could create change about it. Because obviously money rules. Like, and that's the whole thing. Even in just speaking in America in general, and just in the world, is that it's problems, and like, let's stop pretending like it's not. And that's what a lot of people like to do is like, when you get to talking about issues such as this, they say, like, if you don't like America, if you don't like this and that. But no, that's not the problem. All we're saying is, when it's an issue, let's fight to resolve it. And these are perfect examples. I mean, I honestly don't know much about the Eskimos. And it's when situations like this arise, I read and learn and figure out, like, why there is an issue with what's going on.
The
and
only thing I
think,
know is, it's an indigenous people, in North America, especially in the Canadian region. But I will say this: the team did release a statement. They said they acknowledge and appreciate all of the things that has been told to them. So anytime that you say acknowledgement, that means you're learning. So I will say that they know that it's been sort of an issue up there. Guys, let me stop you. Let's go ahead and bring this in, Coach K. I don't know who this is on the line. We're live here on esportsXTRA, 877-853-5247. Meeting ID esportsXTRA. That is 377-678-9872. Larry Ridley here from esportsXTRA, SNY TV, Durham Worrell. Ivan Curtis, the OG, head basketball coach of the NBA 2K League's Brooklyn Nets gaming crew. Antonio Williams, former NFL or NBA and Major League Baseball scout. Let's go to the phone lines. Is this OFAB? OFAB, is this you?
Yeah, Larry, this is me, OFAB.
OFAB, what's up, man? What it do, baby?
Hey, thanks for having me on the show, Larry. It means a lot.
Oh, man. No, man. Congratulations, dude. Larry Ridley here from SNY TV, a little NBA 2K League as well, Madden NFL, live here on esportsXTRA. We're talking to OFAB, best player for the Boston Celtics crossover NBA 2K League as well. He was there season 1 when I was there. My adopted team when I was in the host as the season 1 NBA 2K League. OFAB, you were player of the week last week. I believe you averaged over 42 points a game, man. What did it mean to be named player of the week and also get the team's first win of the season last week?
It meant a lot. It just showed that what I've been saying all season proved right. We finally started playing some defense. We were greening our open shots. And that was a big part of why we won our first game. I've always been a chuck all year. I've been shooting a lot of shots, but that's what made us get our first win last week.
Did you say you've been a chuck all year? Man, you're a bucket, man.
Yeah, I've been shooting a lot of shots, man. I got like 30 more shots in second place, so I'm definitely putting shots up.
Well, your team needs those shots. That's the whole point. So we don't begrudge you for taking those shots. Real quickly, want to get your thoughts on the turn. Another big tournament coming up here. Tournament number 2 in the NBA 2K League. Over $200,000 on the line. How much are you looking forward to the turn? And is this an opportunity for the Celtics to turn around their season?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Everyone's been communicating well. Everyone's playing defense. Everyone's greening. In terms of me looking forward to the turn, I'm looking forward because it could change the season around and we're going to put money. But, like, archetype-wise, not really, because I know everyone's going to ban me. So I've been practicing new builds, like the third best point guard build, fourth best, because I know they're going to use 2 bans on me every single time. So it's going to get annoying, but I got locked in.
Oh, man. Talk about that process, man, about a lot of people don't understand this about the league, but we've seen it in different iterations, the different builds. I remember season 1. Remember the small fort was a hell of a build. Everybody had it. Hot shot and all these guys, authentic African. Talk about the evolution of the builds and how the season changes for you guys. I don't know if it's a patch or whatever you want to call it. They can nerf it, they can buff it, or whatever they want to do in the NBA 2K League.
So like season 1 and 2, it was more like pick and roll and point guards dominating everything. We were lackluster on defense both 2 years, but we kind of made up for it on offense. This year, 1 through 5 can score and get a bucket every single play, and then defense really matters. You see a lot of cherry picking, a lot of fans break points, and the 2K made it more of a team game this year, and if you gotta get your little takeover meter up so you can move like a point guard to move fast, so it's more team oriented this year with the patches and the way the game is. So I think 2K is going away from the little solo superstar getting used to playoffs, and it's more team oriented. Whoever plays the best as a team wins.
All right, good stuff. Yeah, man, you averaged 42 points a game last week, shot 64% from the field. Larry Ridley here, live on esportsXTRA, the only live call-in sports show talking traditional sports and esports. We're talking to OFAB, Boston Celtics crossover all-star guard. They're one of the best players in the NBA 2K League. OFAB, I want to talk about your personal journey, bro. The weight loss. I've been keeping up with that, man, and of course, I've had some dealings in working with Rico Finnessy, excuse me. I always want to say Finnessy, but Finnessy, your coach with the Boston Celtics crossover. Talk about nutrition, diet, working out. You've lost, I think, about 100 pounds, dude. You're down to like, what, 150 something pounds? What's that evolution been like for you?
It's been really good. It's been a lot of ups and downs, including with COVID. I had to do push-ups and squats and burpees for like 4 months straight. So like, that was kind of annoying. But the lowest I ever got was 155, and I was looking like really lean, like low body fat percentage. But one thing I got to overcome is I put on like 3-4 pounds because I kind of like been eating bad and stuff. And then I dropped it again. I dropped 2 pounds. So I think the hardest part is just consistency. No one's gonna be perfect. I mean, you still got a life to live. Like you want to be happy and not like sad. So you're gonna have some cheat days, cheat meals. The number one advice I'll say is just pick up yourself. Next day, go get back at it. Like don't just say, "Oh, I'm gonna just have this cheat meal today and I'll go to the gym next week." No, I'll go to the gym tomorrow. That's what I learned helped me the most.
And we're showing pictures of you, dude, from season 1 to now. Totally different person, dude. Like you can see your face. I mean, I can see your bones and everything. Like, dude, it's been a hell of a transformation for you. What precipitated this for you to sort of want to go on this journey and lose some weight? What was the impact? What was the cause for you to want to do this and go through this and undertake this change?
I, I think this might sound crazy, but like in this world, fat shaming is like really bad. Like you shouldn't do it. It's just like mean to do. Like you shouldn't like just call people fat and stuff. But me, like with my mentality, when I seen Twitch comments or like me get on draft night, like people saying, "Oh, look at this fat ugly dude. He's fat." All this stuff. I needed to get fat shamed, and I think that changed my mentality. I was like, nah, like I don't want people to make fun of me anymore. And then Rico was there, helped me big time to change my life and like save my life pretty much. So pretty much me getting fat shamed by a bunch of internet trolls changed my life. So I'm grateful for the trolls.
Wow. Have you used this platform now to sort of help other people that might be in your shoes that are being bullied?
Yeah, I definitely have. I tell people all the time, like it's always gonna be someone to criticize you, but like you could change it or you could ignore them. Like either way. To this day, I receive hate because of our record. We're not off to a good start, but I just turn off my phone, put my phone away. Like you could ignore these haters, or if you really feel some type of way about what they're saying, you could change your life and make them upset and mad and prove them wrong. And there's multiple league players that hit me up for advice on just anything mental wise, like physical health wise, just anything. So yeah.
Fab, I want to ask you about getting your boy back, Mel East, man, one of my favorite players from season 1. Him and the guy from the Sixers, I forget his name, the six man. Those are 2 of my favorite players because they were so damn loud, and I appreciated that. Well, what's it like having Mel East back on the crew, man?
It feels great. Mel's my brother, and I love how since season 1 we've been together through thick and thin, like ups and downs. Nobody. It's crazy because we've been at the top together, at the Final Four in the playoffs, 3 final appearances, and then now we're at the bottom in the standings and COVID together. So we've truly been through ups and downs, and it means a lot to have Mo by my side no matter what.
All right, good stuff. Let's bring in OG Ivan Curtis, head coach of the Brooklyn Nets gaming crew. OG, you are the resident NBA 2K League guy on this show. Any questions for OFAB and what he's doing in the NBA 2K League?
No, I mean, I don't really have any questions. I just wanted to say, Fab has been one of our first generation premier point guards. I mean, he's been on the amateur scene. It definitely resonated over to the pros. I just want to say I like how I witnessed your journey and a lot of things that you've dealt with, and how you openly came out in the public and been a guiding light to a lot of people who may have been experiencing things that you were in the past. I've had the honor of watching Fab play through his amateur years and pro years, dating back 5-6 years ago. And he's always been at the top. And I just like how he's using this platform to help others, on the game and off the game. And, big ups to you, Fab. I know this season it's been a grind for you, but definitely you built for it. Just be easy on me if we see each other later down the road. We had a slugfest when we played in the regular season. He dominated that series as well. Just fortunately for us, we came out on top, and unfortunately they didn't. But he still played. He probably don't think he played well, but he averaged over 40 in that series.
Wow.
And we were lucky to get out of it. So just keep doing what you're doing, Fab. But you got a lot of people looking up to you. You definitely one of our best players that the league has to offer. So just keep up the great work, man.
It means a lot coming from you, Kurt. It's crazy because I was one of those doubters, man, like the situations you had to deal with this year. I was like, that's probably going to be one of the worst teams in the league. And for you to overcome that, and for you to coach some boys to like a playoff spot, that's really impressive in itself. And I appreciate you giving me the platform for me to be who I am today. Like, without me balling in your league, people won't even know who I am. So I appreciate you big time.
Hey, no doubt, Fab, no doubt. I'll have you on the podcast when the season is over sometime. Can't wait.
Oh, yeah, I'm down. Let's do it.
All right. Hey, Fab, man, we really appreciate it, man. Good luck in the turn with the NBA 2K League this week, man. You're always welcome to come on the show. I'm a big fan. My Celtics. I was supposed to be biased a couple of years ago, but I wasn't. Those boys from the green team, that was my crew right there, because I used to work in Boston, and two of my kids were born in Boston. So always going to be a fan of yours. Tell Mel East I said, what up? Tell Rico Finnessay I said, we need to have some Hennessy next time we get together, man. You've been good, all right, bro?
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate talking to you, Larry. Of course, we're going to do this anytime you want, man. I'm always down. Thank you so much.
All right, Fab. Keep up the good work, man, and we'll talk to you down the road, bro.
All right, thank you.
All right, good stuff. That is Fab, number 2 pick. People forget, number 2 pick in the inaugural NBA 2K League season back in 2018. Yeah, I remember being the host, and it was one of the funnest jobs I ever had. I mean, of all the jobs I've ever had, NBA 2K League was real fun. Missed the damn league, to be honest with you. But man, I tried to be sort of just played it safe. I didn't have any favorites, but Boston was my team. I kind of gravitated towards them just because of the city and things of that nature. But those are my guys, man. Fab and Mel, man. That was a hell of a little combo back in the day. And then had POP. What was his name? Palm Oil, Please. So I had nicknames for all of them and stuff like that. So I missed that, man. How I used to come down the stage and I had nicknames for every damn team and freaking city structures and nicknames for cities and street names and all that stuff. I missed the NBA 2K League, and Fab did his thing the last couple of years. So any thoughts, guys, on speaking with Fab? I thought it was very poignant of him talking about what basically urged him and motivated him to lose some weight. That was very powerful in his statement there, the harassment and bullying that it received online. Good for him. I'm glad he stood up to that crap. And it's also changed his life and transformed his body. Your thoughts, D-Dubs?
I never got the opportunity to meet this young man, but he's a tremendous guy because to lose 100 pounds, that takes a lot of determination. Tells me something about his character. To stay with a regiment to get that down is unfortunate and it's sad and it hurts that he was being bullied on social media, and that's what pushed it, but he used it to his benefit. So I salute him for that. And you keep shining, man. You keep doing your thing, and don't let the naysayers affect you any bit. And you just keep being you. But it sucks that, now with social media, it just allows people to do stuff without real consequences. Mm-hmm. And to bully someone and to call somebody fat and the fat shaming is just not right. But I'm glad that he turned it into a positive for himself and for his health. And I'm glad that he's doing well.
Hey, Willie, your thoughts on Fab and the number 2 overall pick from 2018 with the Celtics crossover team?
Well, first thing I'll say is I know Fab is from St. Louis, so shout out to the Lou. I'm STL born.
There he goes.
So shout out to the Lou. But no, it's really good to see that he didn't allow that hate and all those things to crush him, and it made him better. And again, it's, as Durham was saying, it's just really unfortunate that, you know, one of the byproducts of being in the having the internet and having social media is created thumb thugging, right? People are tough behind that keyboard. Yeah, they thumb thugging, right? So like, so it's just really sad that it's created that. And you know, we've seen, and I don't make light of this at all, but when we've seen that people trolling on the internet, we've seen it have adverse consequences where some people have actually taken their lives because of it. And so, and I don't make light of that at all. So I'm so glad that he was strong enough to make that change to save his life. And eventually he made that hate that people were sort of using their platform for, he used it for good. And he's also being that message and being that beacon that OG said for others. I think it's very important to realizing it's bigger than him. So shout out Fab, keep doing what you're doing.
Sure, absolutely, man. It's great to see the league rally around him. You know, it is a league. You guys are a band of brothers. I'm glad the Celtics were, you know, allowed him to come on the show. Some of the things that we're trying to work through with the NBA 2K League to allow them to come on the show. It's like, look, you know, we're you know, this is home. There's nothing, you know, crazy going to happen, and I can't wait to speak to some of these people. I wish I was in the damn league right now, because you know, OG, I would fucking speak up. You know that for a fact. I talked to all them coaches. I talked to Brandon. I talked to all of them. You know what I mean? I spoke up for Phil, Visu. I was like the voice of every damn body when I was there. So it's good to see the NBA 2K League starting to open this thing up and allow these people come on the show. Let's go back to the Edmonton situation. Get your thoughts, A. Willie, on the Edmonton Eskimos. And before, was it you that was talking before I cut you off?
That was OG that was talking.
It was OG. I apologize. Yeah. OG, let you go ahead and finish.
Well, I pretty much was finishing up with the fact that just, you know, just respecting the thoughts and concerns of others when we're speaking on these mascots and different things of that nature. It's just important because, like I said, if it affects the people that's involved, and you gotta respect that and listen to it, and let's come up with a better resolution than what it's been. Like I said, for the most part, it's been about money. And now that's the talks of it. I mean, you know, obviously a lot of these organizations are not pulling in the revenue this year. I'm always focused on the current year, because let's not act like organizations don't profit from years before now. I mean, so we can talk about what they're not bringing in right now, but in terms of what it would cost, you know, to basically overhaul the name. But I definitely think that now is the time for people to pay attention to those that feel you know, bothered by the name of these teams, and I hope that something's done about it soon, because we have to start having sympathy for those who are bothered and
oppressed. Absolutely.
Yeah, feel that it's offensive. Like, I mean, that's the reason why we're at odds every day is because people don't try to take on the role of someone else that's being affected. And until that happens, we're gonna always find the issues in it. The one thing I wanted to bring up, and a large part of this, is that when we see a lot of comments that's being made, and this is the first time we actually see a president who makes comments towards different nationalities and things of that nature, and he's a heavy influence to the world and beyond. And it's like it's kind of hard to get past certain things when key figures do what they do as well.
Right. Well, he spurs on the trolls. Let's be honest. You know, the white nationalists, the racist. Let's just call a spade what a spade is, and that's what his ass has been doing the last 3.5 years. D-Dubs, your thoughts? I do appreciate Edmonton saying they acknowledge and appreciate the dialogue and the discussion that we have been having for some 3 years now. For everything that we're reading, this thing might go down here in the next couple of weeks. I certainly hope so.
Yeah. And I think it's definitely going to change. And as you said, this is not anything new. They've been talking about this for about 3 years. There was a statement in February that they were not going to change the name because there was no real consensus.
Sound like somebody we
Yeah.
know, right?
Yeah. But the climate changes a lot. What's going on right now, and everybody's looking at these mascots and these different teams with these mascot names, and they seeing what's going on in Washington, D.C. And now they're like, you know what? We probably need to get ahead of this thing and probably need to change the name. This team was founded in 1949. They have 14 Grey Cups,
14, second most behind.
Toronto organized.
He did his homework.
The Toronto organized.
Yeah, baby.
So this to them, this is a historical. This is a historical franchise for them. So I think they're going to do the right thing. I think they're going to change the name. What they're going to call them in the future, I don't know. But I definitely feel like what's going on in Washington, D.C. with the Washington football team is affecting what's going on with the Edmonton team up in Canada.
Dubs, I saw in the statement, accelerating our review. That sounds just like Washington, doesn't it?
Right. No, absolutely. And one of the things,
why are you accelerating a review if you ain't gonna do nothing?
If you're not going to do anything, right? Are you trying to appease people? So,
right.
So the thing about them is I know they were always thinking, like, every time something came up in Washington, they would actually play when they were in the Grey Cups, and they would play the opposing team. Actually, government officials from the opposing team would actually pressure them about changing the name. So this is something that's been going on for a while. And every time someone brought up the Washington team, people were like, good point. Man, like, why are you bringing us up? So, right. So, so with that being said, one of the things I like to say is, again, and OG said it about this, and D said it as well in terms of the money. The chairman of the actual person that heads the board of directors for the Edmonton team talked about how much it would cost. Well, it's very reminiscent of millionaires and billionaires become millionaires and billionaires because they don't spend their own money.
Right. If it ain't free, it ain't me.
Right. So let's as we peel the onion, you have created a term to call a team that a lot of Native people say is offensive, or we don't want that associated, the team associated, our name associated with that team. And so you create this, and now you're turning around and saying, well, if you want the name change, all of these sponsors that are pulling out, how about you pay to change the name? So it's very similar to how owners do when they want to build a new stadium. Hey, if the public doesn't say we're going to give you X amount of tax dollars to build the stadium, we'll just leave. Right. So you create the problem, and now you want us to pay for the solution.
Exactly.
And so that was very interesting to me to see that and to hear that. And the other thing as well is I think from a societal standpoint, I think our people can identify with this, because whenever you are in a situation where there's someone of an out group decides what name that you should go by, you're always going to have issues. Instead of listening to the actual group that you're referring to, how about you listen to them and let them name themselves? That's why we go from some derogatory terms to Negro, to Black, to African-American, etc. So this really resonates with our journey in this country as well, where it's a group of people that are, quote unquote, the majority, actually terming us and telling us what we should call ourselves. So very much reminiscent to our plight here.
All right, guys, we'll take your phone calls live here on Esports Extra, 877-853-5247. Meeting ID Esports Extra. That is 377-678-9872. Press the pound button twice to join the show. Larry Ridley here, SM1 TV. Durham Worrell, fellow sportscaster, NABJ. Ivan Curtis, the King, OG King Kurt. NBA 2K League's Brooklyn Nets gaming crew. A. Willie, Antonio Williams, former NBA scout, Major League Baseball scout, Nike personnel person. So if you need some flights or some Jordans or anything like that, just hit him up. He's got a plug in Oregon, from what I've been told. Is that true? Is that true? I'm hearing a little bird. Hold on. Kevin in my ear says you got a plug with Nike. Is that true?
I will not reveal my
Oh,
sources.
okay. All right, let's go back to the topics. The Madden 99 Club. We got to mention it Wednesday and Thursday a little bit. The finalists, the final 5 members of the club have been revealed. You got Patrick Mahomes, you got Mike Thomas, you got Aaron Donald, Christian McCaffrey, and Stephon Gilmore. Those are the 5 of the 99 Club. The last 2 to be added were Mike Thomas, can't guard Mike, and Gilly Lock, Stephon Gilmore from the Patriots. Guys, your thoughts on the Madden 99 Club? Did they do it right? Was there anyone else that should have been in there? Maybe take one out? Should there be more members of the 99 Club? It used to be 4. This year it was 5. I think maybe you should just have 10 guys and make it, because there are probably about
At least 11.
I was about to say there are probably 10 guys. There you go. 11 for the whole daggone offense or defense. Well, then if you do 11, then you probably have to do 22. One guy from each position, maybe. So, but probably need more than 4 or 5. I think we can all agree on that. Well, what that number should be, and your thoughts on this. We'll start with you, OG.
No, I mean, it's hard. The only argument is 5. Like, I mean, out of all the players who
that
play
does make it exclusive though, so I kind of get it, right?
I mean, but
like
even 22, like if you had 11 offensive and 11 defense, that still would be exclusive. I mean, like,
well, you got 1,500 players or 14.
Yeah, so 22 players. I mean, and we talking.
That's not exclusive. To be exclusive to be in the penthouse in the club, they can only be literally like, you got to be less than 1%. That's for sure.
Okay, I mean, I get it, but I mean,
that's why they call billionaires the top 1%, man.
It's true, but
at least you can't get in, OG.
At least
if we
paper. Right. At least if we saying at the best of that position, then I mean, at least if we limited to that, then that would be. I mean, that would be better than this 5. But I mean, I get it. I mean, obviously, no argument with Pat. I definitely like can't guard Mike, Buckeye. So. Yeah, like you said, it's exclusive. I mean,
that's the one. That's the one I pretty much had a problem with was Mike Thomas. Look, don't want to take anything from can't guard Mike, but is he the best receiver in the NFL?
I wouldn't. If you asked me if he was the best,
and that's why I had a problem with him. Like, you need to be all freaking pro, and maybe Mike is. Look, he's definitely top 5, but I'm like, it's almost like Hall of Fame voting, right? You gotta you don't want to think about it. If you have to think about it, they're probably not a Hall of Famer. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
And then the other thing, just to finish what I had to say about Madden, is the 99 ratings is always crazy to me because on any given day, players make plays like they 99s anyway. So it's like it's exclusive when you mention it, but when you play the game, you be having defensive linemen running 4.2s chasing down running back. So it's like, it is what it is.
Go ahead, Durham. Your thoughts. The 99 Club has been revealed, brother.
Yeah, well, getting back to Thomas, I think Thomas is an exceptional wide receiver.
Great talent.
But I was reading some of the comments, and people were ripping EA. And one of the names that kept coming up that people were unhappy with, they feel like Julio Jones gets no respect.
Right.
That name
Julio Jones, Madden 17, beast.
Yeah.
Beast.
The guy that I really, really like at wide receiver that I think is he's in my top 2, and it's because he's a hands catcher. I love DeAndre Hopkins.
He was 99 last year. He was 99 last year.
I think that this guy, he doesn't let things get to his body. If he gets his hands on it, man, he's pulling it in. Those are the kind of guys I like.
Well, the numbers he was putting up before he got Deshaun Watson were ridiculous too. Some of the daggone clowns that they had behind center in Houston.
So Matt Shaw.
Yeah, so Hopkins is a guy for me that I really like.
Well, Brian Hoyer took him to the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. I think he started a playoff game for them.
Yeah,
he did. Gilmore.
No, stop it. 99, defensive player of the year. 99. Stop. Next one.
I guess maybe because we're used to seeing Ramsey at that spot. Who's now with Los Angeles.
Jalen, yeah.
Yeah. Gilmore, okay.
Yeah, there he goes. LA.
I don't know. I'm not saying he's not good. He's
I
great.
love LA. He loves it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, Donald deserved it. You know,
Yeah.
Donald definitely a defensive tackle.
Well, he deserved it just for the simple fact the way he was ripped with his shirt off this offseason. You know,
Yeah,
he'll get 99.
he's a monster in the middle.
Yeah,
Man,
he is.
Almost,
Bad dude.
he's a man child.
But
You
I
know,
mean,
you gotta-
JJ Watt, I mean, he's been
J.J.
99
Watt,
plenty of
yeah.
times. He's 98. So, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
But you know, the
point.
one that I did see, a lot of people, you know, with this ratings is not a direct science. Someone brought up Sanders, the running back for the Eagles. Can't think of his first name. He's a young guy. He was second year going into his second year. Well, Geis' ranking is higher than his, and Geis hasn't really played.
Yeah.
He hasn't played.
Yeah.
Man.
And people were like, "How is that possible?"
Right.
You know, how can his rating be higher than the kid in Philadelphia? So I think EA still has some
That's a
work
good
to do, but they had some good choices with the 5 that they picked.
Hell, they got a full hour show on ESPN Friday night,
They
right?
did.
Coach K? We
They
watched it,
did.
the Madden rating show. Look, I mean, it's the NFL, so Madden will always be a very popular game for the simple fact, as long as they have that license, they're going to sell a lot of games. Hey, Willie, your thoughts on the 99 Club? Did they get it right? Should they add more? Who should be taken out?
I think they, for me, for the most part, they got it right. I agree with everyone in terms of Michael Thomas. And again, like when you say this stuff, because we are in a clickbait and sensationalized era, when you say this, people automatically assume that you don't like Michael Thomas as a player.
Sure, absolutely. You can't,
Right?
I mean, dude,
And
leads the league in catches. I mean,
He's
no
clutch.
question.
Bad
He's
dude.
clutch. I love him.
No
Can't take
question.
anything from him.
No
But he
question.
does, I mean, he's almost like a New England receiver. He catches a lot of short stuff. But, I mean, he's still a bad dude, though.
No,
Can't
he's
take
a
anything away
bad
from him.
dude.
Yeah.
So people take that as if you wouldn't take him on your team, and it's, but you know, to Julio and D Hop, like those guys at that receiver position are incredible. One of the guys for me, and maybe I'm splitting hairs a little bit, when you start looking at what he does for his team, degree of difficulty, to me, Russell Wilson is a 99, and because of what he has to do for them to be successful.
That's true.
Because, you know, when people look at them as a team, they
He
are,
does the
this
most
isn't
with
the
the least.
Legion of
I
Boom
agree.
days anymore, right?
Well, it's like Brady was,
So-
you know, Brady's been 99 a couple of times. He does a lot with the, you know, with the least.
Right. So
amount of
so
talent
for
around.
me, he's a guy that when I was looking at the ratings and I was seeing the 99s, I thought immediately Russell Wilson's going to be part of it. And to see that he's not is something that for me, I think I would like to see him, because again, his degree of difficulty and what he does is amazing.
Sure. No, good point there. We'll keep it in the Madden realm here. Madden scrubbing the Washington Redskins off of Madden. Now, you will still see it if you get the disc. Once you get the disc and you connect to the internet, it will change it. But they're going to get rid of the name and the logo from Madden for the Redskins this year. Right now, I guess they just be a generic Washington football team. Hopefully, before the start of the season, they'll have a name. I don't know. What do we call them? Washington FC? You know, football club or whatever. You know, what you guys' thoughts on Madden getting into the equation here and taking off the Redskins and the offensive logo as well, Dorwin?
Well, I'm not surprised by that. I remember when they got rid of the running back for Kansas City when he got into trouble in the hotel, Hunt.
Yeah, Kareem Hunt. Yep.
Kareem Hunt.
I think they removed him from the game.
I think they removed Kaepernick too from the game.
They did.
Then maybe they did.
No,
Can't be
they
mad at
don't
that.
maybe.
Look at D's
there he
face.
goes.
Look
I'm
at his
saying,
face.
I don't know what their reasoning was for
Oh,
it.
there
He
he
wasn't
goes.
really playing football anymore, but hey.
Oh man.
Anyway.
Remove Kaepernick, but we can keep Nathan Peterman. That makes sense.
The
When-
Peter Man.
my first job broadcasting was in Hagerstown, Maryland, which is western part of Maryland. And we're owned by Shores Communication, and they also own a bunch of newspapers. The same building that I was in was a newspaper, and we weren't allowed to say Redskins there. They weren't allowed to print it at all. So it was always, when I went on air and I talked about Washington, was the Washington football team. So like I said, this climate is pushing a lot of things, a lot of change, and bravo to EA to get on board, you know, to implement that in their new game. So I like to see that. And also like to see Larry with that shirt on. It looked like a Washington, some
Uh,
kind of headdress.
yeah.
I mean, how in this climate do you
Get
come
him,
to the
D.
show
Get him,
and you
D.
wear
it's a little different. You can see it's got a skull or whatever. It's not full Redskins.
I don't know,
You
bro.
Get him, D.
How you gonna have a show?
I know.
With the headdress, come on, man.
I know.
You gotta do better, man. Come on.
I know, but it doesn't have it's a skull, so it's really not a Native American. It just has a headdress, but it's not. Yeah, I don't have a good excuse.
Does
for
that
this.
come in a mask?
Hey Willie, help me, save me, dude, save me.
No, I agree.
He's got a point. He's absolutely right, by the way.
I think it's a good play for EA to do this, and again with different patches and things. Once if it comes out, then Washington actually announces a new name. They'll just give an update, and it'll update automatically once you do the update. So I think it's good. As Dee was saying, I think it's great that the climate has created a safe zone for people to do the right thing. And as much as I get frustrated with it took you this long and it takes this, at the same time, as our queen of Atlanta says, we got to take the wins when we get them. So
moments equal momentum.
No question.
Yes.
No question. You couldn't have said it more eloquently than that. So for me, I think it's a good play. I know EA is actually going to design their own uniforms and things of that nature for the Washington team. And we'll see if Washington hasn't arrived at a name yet, if they rely on some of those EA inspirations when they're looking at the team for their own. But nonetheless, I think it's a great play, and want to continue to see this momentum going for sure.
Absolutely. Good stuff there, guys. Sorry we've gone very long today. I was trying to buy some time because there was a backstory with OFAB, but I'm glad we got him on. And plus, you guys have just been so damn good. I can just sit here all day. This is really one of the most fun shows I've had, dude. You guys are so damn talented. You're so smart. You guys have all done your homework. I feel like a daggone teacher, man. I'm proud of the damn class. Gerwin's raising his hand in the air all politely and stuff. What the hell? We got 5 brothers on here having a great conversation. Pretty eloquent. We're smart, wicked smart, entertaining. Shit, I'm happy to be a part of all of this. You know what I'm saying? Lastly, Compete Forever on Black News Channel. Last showing of the weekend.
You didn't get my thoughts on Washington.
Oh yes. Oh, I thought.
Let's go, OG.
But no, it's gonna be quick because the only thing I was gonna say was seems like accelerated review, and they're like EA.
I like that term. I like that.
Taking the steps in conjunction with what's going on with Washington. So definitely, as of right now, I'd call it the Washington football team, as Derwin said. They used to announce it, and I just hope that they're not even a factor in the the East. So NFC East anyway. So I mean, competitively going
one
forward.
Playoff win in the last 15 years, irrelevant.
But I like the action. Like I said, y'all already pretty much said everything. It's just about now let's create the change that's needed. Simple as that.
Well, in the words of our good friend, the queen of esportsXTRA, moments equal momentum. Let's keep the momentum, and then you get a movement. You know what I'm saying? So let's not let them get away with it. We'll see what name they come up with: Red Tails, Warriors, Red Wolves, or something in between. We were just talking about Compete Forever on Black News Channel. Episode 7 airing this weekend, Saturday, 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. Eastern. Today at 11 a.m. Eastern already aired, and coming up here in about 3 hours and 5 minutes at 6 p.m. Eastern will be episode 7, Compete Forever Madden NFL, Electric City Classic from Rivers Casino in Schenectady, Capital Region, right next to Albany. The brand new sports book there was the first sports book to open in the state of New York. We were there for the festivities, cut the ribbon and everything with the elected officials there, and then had the tournament a couple days later there. So check it out, 6 p.m. Eastern on Black News Channel. You can get it on Dish Network. Also, Comcast, Xfinity, and Charter Spectrum cable systems. Watch it nationwide to watch the Compete Forever Madden NFL Electric City Classic from Rivers Casino. Hopefully, guys, we'll have some news. I know they want to get back with us and do some more stuff. Rivers just opened up, I want to say last week. So we're trying to work with some of these casinos, maybe to get back in one of these casinos. I love doing the live events. It's a great experience. We get free hotel rooms and free food and stuff. So hopefully we can get that rolling again. Durban got to see some of that. So hopefully we can get back out there and maybe gather in a small gathering, in one of these casinos or sports books and be the only ones in it. And hopefully we can socially distance and get something going. Real quickly before we get out of here, the new Fortnite dance, the Renegade. Is in Fortnite now. We'll go ahead and show the video now. I thought it was interesting. Actually, the character did a really good job. I mean, it was right on cue to the music and the song by the young African American girl. I forget her name. That came up with the Fortnite, the Renegade dance. Remember, she had the big story in the New York Times article. A lot of these TikTok girls and things of that nature stole her dance, but now she's got her just due. I believe she's verified on Twitter. They are. Now I saw that the other day. So look, she's getting her shine on. They got her dance in a video game now. So let's get her name correctly. While you guys are talking, I'm going to find her name. And you guys' thoughts on Fortnite and the dance and the craze. Hey, look, it's popular. It's pop culture, right? It is for the culture. I don't mind it being in the game. Just make sure that it's attributed to the right people. That's all.
Right. Give her. Glad she's getting her just due. I know Fortnite's a real popular game. I've never played it. I know my son has older cousins who play the game, and there's people love that game. I don't know about you, Antonio, but I've never played the game, but
yeah, I don't play it.
Yeah,
I mean, ironically, I don't either, but I know my son does. He plays between that and 2K, and then my daughter, she plays it. She plays Fortnite too. I'm sure she'll be back at it once her back is feeling a little better because she ain't really found a position where she can sit and actually be comfortable playing. But I'm telling you, she be on that. She be on it. Like, I mean, like on it all night. Like,
Jaliyah Harmon, I believe is her name. So definitely want to give her credit.
And that's
Jaliyah
the
Harmon.
main. Really, like I said, and I talk about most things, but it always comes back to money. But like, why is it so hard to get people there just due? Like, I mean, you can be the person who found the creator and get your acclaim that way in some sort of percentage or finder's fee or whatever. But give people credit for their creativity and their talent. I never understand why that's so hard to do. I mean, I remember why I didn't remember her name, but I remember watching the segment on how her coming up with the dance and things of that nature. I mean, it's more than enough money and popularity to go around it to give it to those who are deserving.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely. It's the Renegade dance, of course. K-Camp song, Lottery, bad banger, by the way. Love it.
Yeah.
The Renegade song. So and the dance is it's hot. I can't do it. It's
Me neither.
it's kind of frustrating. I don't have the the skill and the I guess what they call the rhythm as I once used to. Your thoughts on this, A Willie, man?
No, I think it's good. And one of the things as we're talking about terms and things of that nature and how big semantics are, when we talk about the football team in Edmonton or the football team in Washington, we're talking about terms and origins. Pop culture is actually Black culture, but instead of calling it Black culture, you remove the word Black and you put pop on there. So if we're really going to talk about the origins of things and where they come from, we should get all the way in the weeds. And so the fact that she is getting credit for originating this dance, and most of the dances that come from that are considered pop culture crazes.
Well, it comes from our culture.
It comes from our culture.
They love our culture, but they don't
love us. Right. So with that being said, whether it's the dances, whether it's the vernacular, whether it's the fashion statements, etc., all of those things originate in our culture. And instead of calling this, hey, this is Black culture, it's called pop culture. And so with that being said, if we're really going to talk about the importance of semantics and terms and origins of things, let's get all the way in the weeds and talk about it.
Yeah, good stuff. Guys, any final thoughts before we get out here? Damn, we went 2 hours, dude. I think this may be the longest show we've had that wasn't a draft show. Longest
you're having a good time.
Longest non-draft show we've ever had. You're right, man. You guys were so good. I couldn't I'm sitting back like, shoot, I'm like, where my popcorn at? These guys are good.
Well, hey, for me, as usual, shout out to Snook and Diddy and Renee.
Snook and Diddy.
Hey.
And Renee.
Also, NBA 2K League The Turn, which was mentioned when we were talking to OFAB, is July 22nd to the 25th. Basically, it will be airing on the NBA 2K League Twitch and YouTube, as well as ESPN on Wednesday and Saturday.
Ballin'.
Games start as early as 6 p.m. On Wednesday, 5 p.m. on Thursday and Friday, and then Saturday the semifinals and finals start at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's a pot, 260K pot. It's sure to be
Money.
entertaining. First place, 117K. Second place, 52K.
So that's what the Nets are going to win. 117K split.
Let's go, OG.
OG,
Let's
I'm
go.
counting your pockets,
Let's
OG.
go.
Yeah, pocket hustling at its
I'm counting
finest.
your pockets, OG. I know what your cut is.
All right. Third and fourth place, 22.1K, and fifth through eighth, 11.7K. So it's a meaty pot to go around, and definitely we'll be competing for that 117K. It's bounce back week for us. So I'll be back in New York on Monday. So definitely excited about that. Also, check out the OG Two Cents podcast on Apple, Spotify, Anchor, and the YouTube portion of it will drop later tonight.
Yes, sir. When do the Nets play again?
We luckily for us, the Jazz knocked off the Grizz last week on Friday. So that moved us back into the ninth spot. So we won't play until Thursday. Opening rounds will start Wednesday, but we'll play Thursday evening.
So we'll see you on Wednesday, Thursday. We'll stand by on Thursday. Good luck to you guys, man. We're rooting for the Nets. They will always be our team here on Esports Extra, guys. I'm going to get on out of here because I got to go. My kid's got a game in a couple hours, so I need to get moving. For Kevin and Mamuzette back there pushing all the right buttons. Wake up, Coach K. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up.
Coach K.
D-Dubs back there as well, down there in the Palm Beach is Royal Palm Beach because that's regal when you say royal. That's one of the better Palm Beaches down there. OG out there in Dayton, man. We're so glad and so thankful, man, that your daughter's pulling through, man. I will still put out those positive thoughts and vibes, man, and well wishes out there to you and your family. Tell the family, say what up. Hey, Willie, good to see the boss that pays the cost of the Williams household.
Made an appearance. Yeah.
Hey, have to call the boss, man.
Right.
So they sent me, dog. They sent Devon. Hey, throw him up, man. Throw him up for the baby girl, man. In the A, man.
The queen.
In the A.
Hey.
All right, good stuff, guys. Larry Ridley here, guys. Thank you. We'll see you Wednesday for more Esports Extra Live, the only live call-in sports show on Twitch, Mixer, Facebook, and YouTube, talking traditional sports and esports. See you Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Have a good weekend.